Very good afternoon. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Palestine, first ever prime ministerial visit from India to Palestine, is our top focus in Midday News, where we get you the biggest developing news stories at lunch hour. I'm Ashwarya Kapoor and these are the headlines. Prime Minister Modi to reach Palestine in a short while from now for a historic visit. Positive mood in Ramallah ahead of Modi's visit. Earlier, PM held talks with the Jordan's King Abdullah in Amman. Both leaders agreed to boost India-Jordan bilateral relations. Two army jawans martyred and 6 others injured in an attack by Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists at an army camp in Sujwan in Jammu. Area cordoned off, militants isolated. Operation underway to flush out attackers. Congress President Rahul Gandhi to launch party's Karnataka election campaign from Bellary today. During 4-day campaign, Rahul Gandhi to visit Huligama Temple and Siddheshwara Mutt. Chhattisgarh's state budget presented. Chief Minister Raman Singh presents the last full budget of his term. Special focus on farmers and agricultural sector. And the fourth one-day international between India and South Africa at Johannesburg from 4:30 p.m. today. India look to back series after 3-0 unbeatable lead. Star South African batsman AB de Villiers returns to the team. Our top focus, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will reach Palestine in a short while from now, becoming the first Indian Prime Minister to visit that country. India and Palestine are set to create a new milestone in bilateral relations during the visit. So here is a look at the Prime Minister's schedule in Palestine today.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will reach Ramallah in Palestine in the afternoon today. In July last year, Modi made history by becoming the first Indian Prime Minister to visit Israel. He will today become the first Indian Prime Minister to visit Palestine. Modi will meet the Palestinian leadership after laying a wreath at the memorial of Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat. He will be accompanied by his Palestinian counterpart Rami Hamdallah.
Yasser Arafat always supported India, and Yasser Arafat was considered one of the best friends of India. Since Prime Minister Narendra Modi is coming to Palestine for the first time as a Prime Minister, this is the biggest tribute that he will come and he will begin his journey to Palestine from this museum.
The mausoleum of Yasser Arafat was unveiled on November 10, 2007 and is located adjacent to the compound of presidential headquarters. After paying homage at the mausoleum, Prime Minister Modi will take a short tour of the Yasser Arafat Museum, located adjacent to the mausoleum.
We thank him for this visit and for his attention for our issue and the Indian people. We need the real support from the Indian in general for the Palestinian issue to end the occupation.
Well, the Palestinian Authority made it clear they are into peace and they will always support peace, but without having to kind of succumb to the Israeli conditions. If Israel recognizes Palestine and respects Palestinians, of course Palestinians will resume negotiations to try to live in peace with the Israeli state.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be received by President Mahmoud Abbas before the ceremonial welcome in the compound of the presidential headquarters, also known as a Muqatta. Prime Minister Modi's visit is likely to see a reiteration of India's support to the Palestinian cause.
I hope for him all the best to support the Palestinian people in our issue.
Officials said Prime Minister Modi would highlight New Delhi's assistance to help build Palestinian capacity in the health, information technology, infrastructure and education sectors. India is funding an India-Palestinian technology park in Ramallah to help develop IT skills and generate employment. The Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas had visited India in May 2017, during which agreements were signed in different areas of capacity building. Akhilesh Suman's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And our Foreign Affairs editor Akhilesh Suman earlier sent us this report from the Presidential Palace in Ramallah, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas will be holding talks shortly.
We are standing before Palestinian Liberation Authority's presidential headquarters. You can see the picture, Mohammed Abbas picture, who is the president of Palestinian Liberation Authority. And this is the place where Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to hold official talks with Mohammed Abbas, the president of Palestinian Liberation Authority. Ceremonial welcome will be also taking place here. And this is very important visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi because he is going to be the first Prime Minister of India to visit Palestine. Palestine and India had been very close friends since our independence struggle, but Palestine could not get independence till now. So that is the effort from Palestine that there should be a multilateral negotiation committee in which India should also join. Mohammed Abbas will propose before Prime Minister Narendra Modi that India should also join in that multilateral committee that will push for independence of Palestine. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also assure Palestinian Liberation Authority President that we are there to help you in whatever development needs you are having. And there is expectation that more than half a dozen negotiation and agreements will be signed in this talks after the conclusion of these talks. The other thing that is very important that Palestinian Liberation Authority and Palestinian people have very good contacts in the whole Middle Eastern country, and they will be very important in fight against terrorism. India is trying to push the international agreement and international cooperation in fight against terrorism, and I think that Palestinians will be very helpful in that. And the third thing, that the whole peace process in the whole Middle East is also going on. Some of the countries in the Middle East are facing wars, so I that this type of talks between India and Palestinian Liberation Authority both believe in democracy and both believe in democratic struggle. So this will be a major milestone in the history of Palestinian struggle, that the biggest democracy, that is India, its Prime Minister is coming here and recognizing the cause of Palestine. It will be interesting to see that what will be the result thereafter. But it is very important that as America and Israel both are friends to India and Palestine is also friends to India, the conclusion might be very positive. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Television with camera person Junaid in presidential headquarters of Ramallah, Palestine.
And in fact, our Foreign Affairs editor Akhilesh Suman is now joining us live from Ramallah in Palestine. Akhilesh, a very good afternoon. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to reach Palestine in a short while from now, and he will hold bilateral talks with the Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas there. So these talks, remember, coming after last meeting which was held in New Delhi last year. So what all will be the focus of the two leaders' talks in Palestine?
Yes, there are three elements of Prime Minister's talk with President Mohammed Abbas. That is terrorism, development and diplomacy. These are the three things on which India-Palestine association is based upon for these talks. That terrorism, that in the Middle East, Palestine is one of the major allies of India. And we have so much of confidence between us that we can talk frankly on the issues of terrorism. And that Palestine has always been India and helped India in whatever manner possible in fight against terrorism. And if you remember that in Yemen, we were successful in taking our people out of the war-trapped zone. I think Palestinian resources were also working for us. So in that way, we are working against terrorism with Palestine on these issues. And also, once we come on the development issues, development is one of the major planks that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is having part of his diplomacy. And you can see behind me this is the Ramallah city, and you can see the glittering Ramallah. New buildings are coming, new roads are coming. So it's a new Ramallah, new Palestine, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi and India wants to be the part of this new development in Palestine that is known just for wars and just for fights. There is a different side of Palestine, and that side of Palestine is in Ramallah, and almost more than 15% of Palestine is in direct control of Mohammed Abbas. That means Palestinian Liberation Organization and Palestinian Liberation Authority, where interference of Israel is minimal, and that is developing very fast. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be talking about development and how India can cooperate with Palestine on development issues, and I hope that almost more than half a dozen agreements will be signed when Prime Minister Narendra Modi is finishing his talks with Palestinian President Mohammed Abbas.
Absolutely. But Akhilesh, Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas has also said that he would like to talk about the Middle East peace process. But, the Prime Minister Modi's visit is a part of India's effort to de-hyphenate relations with Israel and Palestine. So it'll be very interesting to see if there will be talks about the resolution really of the Palestine issue.
You are right that Palestine-Israel issue is one of the most important issues close to the heart of Palestinians, and not only to the heart of Palestinians but also to the heart of everyone in the world, every government in the world. And it is difficult to realize this issue once you don't come here. Once you come here, you can see that people of Palestine feel trapped between the two nation theory, but they don't have any nation. Everyone had been supporting that there should be two nations out of this territory. One should be with Israel, another should be with Palestine. But the border is controlled by Israelis, and the inside areas Palestinians are living, but they are trapped because the internal security in most part of Palestinian territory is controlled by Israelis. There are some areas where you will feel that they are just ghettoized. So there is a need of creating an environment when Israelis and Palestinians can talk, that the Palestinian people can walk freely in their own area. They can go wherever they want, and they can come back as their own wish. So this is one of the major issues that is termed as Palestinian independence, and Palestinian needs a nation. There is no doubt. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi, as one of the tallest leaders of the world, who is talking, taking a stand, who is talking very clearly on issues of the world. He will talk with President Mohammed Abbas that how negotiation can be made with Palestine, what are the points that can be, how India can help Palestine to get this goal of independence. And I think that Mohammed Abbas is very eager that India should play some role, because in a way President Donald Trump has taken a stand on the issue of Israel, and India has opposed this stand very clearly. There is a sense of confidence in the Palestinian Authority that yes, India can go with independent foreign policy, even if it is close to USA and also close to Israeli. So I think this is one of the best opportunities you can have, an ally which can talk to your adversary very freely and very frankly on the issues that concern both of them. So now at this point in time, that when Israelis are also very good friend of India and Palestinians are very good friend of India, and they had been very good friends of India, so India may have a role, not very directly but indirectly India will be having role, and Palestinian Authority President Mohammed Abbas will be talking and seeking his help, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also try to understand that what are the limitations, what are the benchmark that Palestinian Authority can go as a give and take with the Israelis.
All right. Thank you so much, Akhilesh, for all those updates. You keep tracking all those developments in Palestine, even as Prime Minister Narendra Modi just about to reach the Middle Eastern country. Of course, the Rajya Sabha television will get all our viewers all the updates from Palestine during Prime Minister Modi's visit to that country. And ahead of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's historic visit, Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas said that he will discuss India's role in the Middle East peace process. Abbas said that he would like India to have a role in creating a multilateral forum of negotiations between the Palestinians and Israelis to reach a final agreement. He also said that he will discuss the recent updates that led to the heightened tensions in the region following the US's unilateral decision to declare Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. The Palestinian president stressed that this visit by Prime Minister Narendra Modi will culminate the historic ties between the two brotherly people. It will also help in increasing and strengthening the ties that both nations possess.
An important Rajya Sabha television team is in the Palestinian city of Ramallah. India-Palestine ties goes back to our own history of independence, and it still continues.
Very happy for Indian support for Palestinian.
India is very good for Palestine.
Will Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Palestine give a new impetus to India-Palestine ties?
Marhaba, namaste. Welcome, India.
Follow Rajya Sabha TV for our coverage of Prime Minister's visit to Palestine.
And earlier, Prime Minister Narendra Modi met Jordan's King Abdullah II in Amman during the first leg of the visit to Palestine, UAE and Oman. The PM was in the Jordanian capital during transit. The Prime Minister said that he had a wonderful meeting that will give great strength to India-Jordan bilateral relations. During the meeting at the King's residence, the Prime Minister also told the King that he is looking forward to his visit to India in February end. The King meanwhile described the meeting as a beginning of a new chapter in the bilateral ties. The talks, which were attended by acting Prime Minister Mahmoud Abbas, also focused on coordination and consultations between the two nations in various fields, as the King highlighted the key role played by India in promoting security, stability and fighting terrorism. And the Ministry of External Affairs said that the Prime Minister expressed sincere thanks for logistical support extended for smooth facilitation of his Palestine visit. Earlier, the PM was received on arrival in Amman by the Prime Minister there. The Indian community in Amman also welcomed the Prime Minister. This is Prime Minister Modi's first visit to Jordan and also the first visit by an Indian Prime Minister there in 30 years. And in midday news, we'll take a very short break. We'll be back with more news. Stay tuned.
Tales that inspire. Stories of social change. A salute to diversity. Promoting public discourse. Events that motivate. Inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries.
Welcome back after the break. And back home, there has been a terrorist attack on an army camp in Jammu and 2 junior commissioned officers have been martyred and 6 have been injured after Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists carried out the attack on an army camp in the outskirts of Jammu city. A colonel rank officer is also among those injured. The terrorists breached the rear side of the Sujwan army camp in the outskirts of the city last night. Security forces and police have cordoned off the area around the and a high alert has been sounded in Jammu, and schools have also been closed by the authorities in the entire area around the camp as a precautionary measure. And according to a tweet by the Home Minister's office, Rajnath Singh spoke to DG Jammu and Kashmir Police regarding the terrorist attack on the army camp in Jammu. The DGP has apprised him of the situation, and the MHA is also closely monitoring the situation.
आश्वस्त रहिए, हमारे सेना और सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस के तमाम बखूबी जो है जो जिस काम को अंजाम देना चाहिए वो दे रहे हैं, अपनी जिम्मेदारी का निर्वाह कर रहे हैं और कभी भारतवासियों का मस्तक को झुकने नहीं देंगे। आश्वस्त रहिए।
ये 3-4 दिन से जो है इस प्रकार के इनपुट्स थे कि कुछ बॉर्डर के ऊपर आईबी के ऊपर कुछ लोग अंदर घुसना चाहते हैं, कुछ टारगेट्स थे उनके, लेकिन उस वहां पर अलर्ट था, तो हो सकता है अलर्ट के कारण उन्होंने टारगेट बदला हो, इस प्रकार की बात है। लेकिन जो है ये बड़ा बहादुरी से हमारे जवान लड़ रहे हैं और पूरा उनका मोरल अप है। और जम्मू में जिस प्रकार से वो टेरराइज करने की कोशिश उनकी है कि लोगों का जो है मोरल डाउन करने के लिए, बिल्कुल नहीं है। लोग बहादुर हैं जम्मू कश्मीर के।
As per report, around 4:45 in the morning, there was there was some suspicious movement noticed by the Santri, and they fired back. They fired upon the Santri bunker was fired upon, and they retaliated. Later, we suspect that the militants have the number is not known. They have been cornered in one of the family quarters. As per the preliminary report, there are 2 injuries. On army side, there is one Hawaldaar and one his daughter. Forces have immediately reacted, cordon off the area. Operation is on. Details will follow.
News news from Chhattisgarh now, where Chief Minister Raman Singh presented the state budget in the Assembly today. Raman Singh also holds the additional portfolio of finance. This is the last budget of his government's third term. Remember, Chhattisgarh is slated to go to polls in November.
प्रधानमंत्री आदर्श ग्राम योजना में बेमेतरा, बलौदाबाजार, भाटापारा, जांजगीर चांपा, बिलासपुर एवं मुंगेली जिले के अनुसूचित जाति बहुल 175 गांवों में आवास, पेयजल, विद्युत, शिक्षा, स्वास्थ्य सुविधाओं को केंद्रित करते हुए आदर्श ग्राम के रूप में विकसित करने का कार्य संचालित है। इस योजना में 328 गांवों को जोड़ने हेतु कार्य योजना तैयार की जा रही है। मानवघाती नक्सलवाद के साथ अंतिम चरण में है। हमें विश्वास है कि जल्दी इस समस्या को हम जड़ से समाप्त कर देंगे। मैं उन सभी जाबाज सुरक्षा कर्मियों को नमन करते हुए उन्हें श्रद्धांजलि देना चाहूंगा जिन्होंने इस युद्ध में बलिदान दिया है। प्रदेश में कानून व्यवस्था को सुदृढ़ करने हेतु 18-19 के बजट में 4,309 करोड़ 70 लाख की राशि का प्रावधान किया गया है। राज्य के अत्यंत नक्सल प्रभावित 8 जिलों के अधोसंरचना विकास हेतु 230 करोड़ का प्रावधान है। इस विशेष योजना केंद्र सरकार द्वारा हमारे अनुरोध पर स्वीकृत की गई है, जिसके लिए मैं प्रधानमंत्री माननीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी को धन्यवाद देना चाहूंगा।
And news from the south of the country, Congress President Rahul Gandhi launched the party's Karnataka campaign from a hospital in Bellary. Rahul Gandhi is touring Bellary, Kopal, Raichur, Yadgir, Kalaburgi and Bidar in the northernmost part of the state during his 4-day visit. Now, Rahul Gandhi will visit Huligama Temple in Kopal and the Siddheshwara Mutt today. He is also expected to visit Khwaja Bande Nawaz Dargah and the house of late Kamrul Islam in Gulbarg. The Karnataka campaign will involve road shows, public meetings, interactions with civil society groups and sessions featuring farmers. And Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu was the chief guest at the valedictory function of the Maha Mastak Abhisheka festival at Shravana Belagola in Karnataka. He performed the Rajya Abhishek ceremony there. Later, he released 108 books published by Bharatiya Gyanpith. Speaking on the occasion, the Vice President said that Karnataka is well known for its rich cultural and heritage. Describing India as the capital for spirituality, he said it is a culture that has sustained over the centuries. Calling upon senior leaders of the country to encourage others to visit the holy place, he said that one should never feel shy of dharma. He also said that everyone must give back to society.
धार्मिक भावना ये हमारा मूलभूत विश्वास है इस देश का। दुनिया में भारत का पहचान भी ऐसा है। I can tell you in the entire world, India is the capital for the spirituality and we should feel proud of the same. मजहब अलग है, धर्म अलग है, पूजा पद्धति अलग अलग हो सकता है, मगर जीवन पद्धति और देश के लिए जीना, समाज के लिए जीना, ये हमारा कर्तव्य है, ये हमारा जीवन पद्धति है।
And President Ramnath Kovind will present the country's highest literary honour, Gyanpith Award for the year 2017 to noted Hindi literature writer Krishna Sopti today. Sopti awarded with a cash prize of 11 lakh rupees, a certificate and a memento as part of the 53rd Gyanpith Award ceremony. Now, born in 1925 in Gujarat in Pakistan's Punjab province, the 92-year-old Sopti is known for experimenting with new writing styles and creating bold and daring characters in her stories who were ready to accept all challenges. In 1980, Sopti was conferred with the Sahitya Akademi Award for her novel Zindagi Nama. In 1996, she was also awarded with the Sahitya Akademi Fellowship. On to some other news now. Niti Aayog on Friday launched the Healthy Stats Progressive Report. While Kerala, Punjab and Tamil Nadu topped the overall health index in larger states, Mizoram and Manipur topped the ranking among smaller states. This report is expected to nudge states towards achieving a rapid transformation of their health systems and population health outcomes. Kriti Mishra reports.
The Healthy States Progressive Report was released on Friday. It marks the first step to systematically assess the nation's performance on various health parameters. Niti Aayog CEO Amitabh Kant, Ministry of Health Secretary Preeti Sudan and India Country Director of World Bank Junaid Ahmed released the report.
We create a baseline that all states are at this level. and then what is the change that has taken place and record the change. And we've got some very interesting data that some states in eastern part of India and the central part of India have moved up very fast.
Among large states, the report ranks Kerala, followed by Punjab, Tamil Nadu and Gujarat as the best performers. States that performed poorly in the health index include Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Bihar and Odisha. Among the large states, Jharkhand, Jammu and Kashmir and Uttar Pradesh are the top 3 ranking states in terms of annual incremental performance. Among small states, Mizoram ranked first, followed by Manipur and Goa. Among union territories, Lakshadweep showed both best overall performance and high incremental performance. The states were ranked on health outcomes, governance and information on health.
It also tells us where we are in terms of absolute standards, each one of them, and a scope for self-improvement. Like in golf game, you are competing with your own self to do better and better. States are responsible for huge spending that they do. 2/3 of the health spending, you'll be surprised, is actually provided by the state governments. The union government gives 1/3.
The Health Index report noted that states and UTs that at lower levels of development are at an advantage in notching up incremental progress over states with high health index scores. At the same time, it is a challenge for states with high index scores to maintain their performance levels. The report also stresses upon the need to improve data systems in the health sector in terms of representatives of priority areas, periodic availability of all states and union territories, and completeness of private sector service delivery. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
On to some sports news now. In the 4th one-day international match between India and South Africa will be played today at the new Wanderers Stadium in Johannesburg in South Africa, and India is leading the 6-match series 3-0. The visitors won the first 3 matches of the series in Durban, Centurion and Cape Town. India now need just one more win to claim their maiden ODI series triumph on the South African soil. The matches are scheduled to start at 4:30 p.m. and AB de Villiers is back in the South African side. And the third one-day international match between India and South African women team will take place today at South Africa's Potchefstroom. The visitors scored an emphatic 88-run win over the hosts in their first one-day international match and by 178 runs in the second ODI. The 3-match series gives both the teams a chance to directly qualify for the 2021 ICC Women's World Cup, and the match will start at 1:30 p.m. And finally, the 23rd Olympic Winter Games kicked off with a colourful ceremony at Pyeongchang in South Korea on Friday. Nearly 3,000 athletes from 93 countries will compete for a record 102 medals for 15 different sports. And North Korea has nominated 22 athletes to compete in 3 sports. The tournament will conclude on 25th of February. The athletes from 2 Korean nations marched under a united flag in the opening ceremony, which was themed around peace and future. So let's take a look at the breathtaking visuals as we wrap up this news bulletin. Thanks for watching.